are these people?
All right. Welcome to another episode of Angel in the Afternoon. I am your host, Angel Rivera, alongside our two esteemed panelists, Alex Knight and Witchy Perfect. How you guys doing?
Fine.
You like my
Good.
new house? No, I'm just kidding. Maybe sometime in the future. We'll see.
Yeah, I didn't notice that you had that background. So, yep. Let's see here. Got a lot to talk about this week, so hope everybody enjoys the show. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share, whatever. So no, just I'm gonna rant. I'm not gonna rant, but I'm going to talk about the insanely long process that is filling out unemployment here in New Jersey. Fuck me. Just
A
drop.
woman went for governor for New Jersey, I heard.
Yeah, I mean,
Why have they changed something?
No. It was announced a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
yeah, the primary for governor here took place a couple weeks ago, and I forget her name. Why am I forgetting her name? Some congresswoman, a Democratic congresswoman from New Jersey, won the primary. So we're all supposed to be very excited about getting a female governor, possibly. But meanwhile, the Republicans are running. To be fair, he wasn't really Trumpian until Trump endorsed him, and then all of a sudden he became Trumpian. Classic politician.
he sucked the Trump dick.
Uh-huh.
And once you go Trump dick, you never go back.
His name is Jack Ciattarelli. He ran last time in 2020, but he lost for like 3 points. He won again. He won the primary again this time, but this time he got the president's endorsement. So of course, initially he was very critical of Trump. Now all of a sudden he turns around and is like, "I love Donald Trump. He endorsed me. Vote for me." So it's like, yeah, it's same old crap. And I don't know who's gonna win. And I says I wouldn't be surprised if Ciattarelli won because ultimately, Phil Murphy is pretty unpopular here in New Jersey. So after everything he's done here, but I digress. I wanted to talk about the unemployment real quick. I had to do my mother's unemployment, and oh my god! So you have to go online, fill out all the forms, whatever, send it in, and then I had to we have to use I'm not sure you guys heard of this, the ID Me system.
Yeah.
Where you have to basically verify your ID through them. So that took a while too, and then finally it's able to. Now she's good and ready to go, but Jesus Christ, this is absurd. So let's see. Thank you for joining us, everybody. So let's start with
Hey, Kai.
Yeah.
Is there anybody here in chat? No,
No.
you're the first one.
You were the first one, so congratulations. But you win nothing though, so sorry about that. But let's get to. You know what? I forgot. I was gonna invite David on, but I totally forgot to even ask him because I've been busy all week. Especially with the New York mayor primary just happened. I totally forgot I wanted to get him on.
Still ask him.
I can ask him in chat.
Well, I mean, I think he might need notice. I mean, I can't just spring it on him now.
Hey, Snow.
But yeah,
Snow's here.
Yeah, he's
Hi,
here.
Snow.
Hey.
We love your boom boom song.
Hey, maybe
I love the boom boom song. I love the boom boom song.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'll try to get him on next week to see what he thinks about the don't mess with the Zohan who won the primary somehow in New York.
But everyone's excited about the win when they need to remember we've seen all this before.
Yeah, so Don't Mess with the Zohan won the primary somehow. And I call him Don't Mess with the Zohan because he kind of reminds me of Adam Sandler in that movie. So Don't Mess with the Zohan. So let's see here. So yeah, he won. Is apparently New York has ranked choice voting, which I didn't know they had until recently. So I talked about this on Twitter, but Cuomo was leading 99% of the polls in the primaries. Then, like a few days before, all of a sudden, this guy is winning, and he's winning by like 6 points. He ends up winning the election. I'm like, where did this come from? Like, this dude was. There were debates where he was basically feeding Israeli talking points, and he's talking about Israel has the right to exist and Israel has the right to defend itself. Then that was the first debate. He was still down, and then all of a sudden he's up and he's leading by a lot, and he wins by like 6 points. I'm like, where did this come from? There's no way this is real.
Because of who Andrew Cuomo is, I think that's part of it.
I smell a rat. I think Snow does too.
It's whoops. What is this? Get rid of that. But yeah, I mean, it's not real. I mean, there's no way that I speculated on X that basically the political machine in New York basically came to a deal with Zohan here that basically said, well, if you do our bidding, then we'll make you mayor.
Bam.
And that's basically what I'm speculating, but I'm almost positive that's what ends up happening because Cuomo. Get rid of this. Because Cuomo was leading by like 99% of the primary, and I figured, okay, he's gonna win. He's gonna be mayor. Like we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. He's gonna be mayor, and then he's gonna run for president. They're gonna rehab his image and run for president, and then they're gonna do everything they can to make him the nominee because ultimately he's a Cuomo. You know, his dad was politician as well. So the corrupt New York political machine,
yeah, we
wins
have
again.
a whole history here of the Cuomo sucking dick. I mean, that's how they got into the club. Now this guy, Zoran, is now he's in the club. It's a big club, guys, and we ain't in it.
To respond to Snow, as Trump would say, they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
We'll get to Donald Trump's thoughts on Israel and Iran in a minute, but
Trump's just playing a role.
Yeah, I know, but
Pumo.
You're the governor. I'm so used to Cuomo being the governor. I just called him governor, but yeah. Anyways, these are some of his promises, and he has many promises and many things that he's allegedly going to do. This screenshot says Linda McMahon is coming up next on Fox and Friends. But I digress, So apparently this
was like the joke in Laughing because it's like, oh, this guy wants health care for poor people. Oh, have you had $30 million minimum wage? Yeah. Oh, poor people are so fucking stupid. I mean, this is what is this? Baby baskets for newborns?
And look what's missing there. Medicare for all. It's like
Medicare for all.
When you brought that up, Alex, I was like, well, New York City can definitely afford to do like a single payer system. It's the largest city in the world. Just like California could afford to do it if they wanted to. They're the most economically prosperous state in the country. If anyone can do it, it's New York City or California. They won't do it. In fact, they almost did it in California, but Gavin Newsom vetoed the bill to make a single payer system in California.
Well, notice how they have socialist promises. Socialist promises. This guy's a socialist. No, this guy's a motherfucking liar who literally got into the club and now is going to con poor people into believing his bullshit.
Oh, no, so he's a Muslim, remember?
And he's a socialist. Oh, my God.
I don't understand. Why what is with the right's hatred towards Muslims? I don't understand.
Oh my God! It's literally, hey,
9/11?
We're all Christians, so yeah, we're all Christians. But that was Israel. Yeah. That was Saudi and Israel. Literally, Israel was a part of 9/11 just as much as Saudi Arabia was. So again, this is literally, hey, we're Christian and we hate the bad people, right? Right. The bad people are Muslims, right?
So
we're for good things and against bad things.
Zohran I keep calling him Zohan, but whatever. Don't mess with the Zohan. Whatever. I'm just gonna call him Zohan because I'm gonna butcher the name anyways. Um,
Zohan.
yeah. So he claims he's gonna do no cost
Just call him Suck a
childcare,
Dick.
no cost
you might as well.
childcare, baby baskets to newborns, whatever that is, and a $30 minimum wage.
Oh, so I don't see.
And if you believe any of this shit, I got a bridge to sell you.
Oh, so I don't see any Nawars there.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Well, he's a mayor, so I'm not sure how much he would do ending the wars, but I get your point.
Oh,
you know,
true.
so,
You're correct on that.
yeah. Yeah, so
that's why they put this on Fox News, because they wanted people to laugh. Oh, poor people are so fucking dumb. Oh, they fell for it again.
Fox News basically has it as socialist, you know, so it's like they
Hide
scare
your
their
children!
audience.
He's a communist.
Oh my god!
So I'm gonna go over. I kind of broke this down and explained why.
Oh, and
why. Go
Angel,
ahead.
when you get a chance, do you want to also bring up my response towards Jeff Miami? I think you saw that tweet.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Yeah, sure, if we have time. Excuse
I don't know if you know who Jeff Miami is, Steph.
I think he blocked me.
You'll find out a little.
Yeah. So basically, I start out by breaking this down because it's like on paper is nice, on paper is fantastic. In practice, this is what my issues are. No cost childcare. That means that the taxpayers would pay. That likely means that these private childcare companies would raise prices exponentially because the taxpayers are paying. Let's see, what else did I put? Yeah, that's because look, no cost childcare sounds nice. I mean, if you have children out there and you're working, I'm sure it's amazing. But the issue is, and I'll tell a story when I was a kid. My mother, basically got childcare through the state for me and my siblings. And I happened to see a bill. They sent my mother a bill, even though it was paid, but they accidentally sent her a bill. And basically, this is 1997 or 8. So this is almost 30 years ago at this point. That's how old I am, by the way. But I digress.
Shut up! I'm just as old.
So the bill was $1,500 per week per child.
Jesus Christ!
So that came to like $6,000 per week, and that was 30 years ago. Imagine how much childcare would be today, and that's government paid, by the way. Yep. So, which is why on paper it sounds great, but ultimately the taxpayers are going to be spending a lot of money on childcare when it's
and
not
that's even
needed.
if they do it. They probably won't even do any of this stuff that he's proposing.
Yeah, but even if they do it, let's say this is going to be a major issue. Let's see, baby baskets for newborns. I don't understand this one. Like, why is he proposing this? Is it only going to apply to everyone or just the poor and middle class? If it applies only poor and middle class, then it be spun as a handout, can be cut easily in the future, which is what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Even if they do this, which he probably won't, but let's say if he does, a future mayor can come around and say, hey, we need to cut the budget a little bit. Let's just cut these baby baskets, whatever they are. So they're gone. So let's get to the minimum wage. Because in theory, it sounds great, but ultimately, this is my thinking of it. Is the minimum wage across the board or just for big businesses? Because if it's across the board, that would force most small businesses to close because there's no way they can afford a big increase to their labor costs. If this applies to big businesses like Walmart and Target, only then they would just lay off some of their workforce and turn most employees into part-time workers. Walmart isn't going to allow a major increase in their labor costs. They have to maintain their profit margins. So what's the answer to increase wages? Easy. Of Zohan was, if Zohan was serious, he would encourage unionization and not arbitrarily raise the minimum wage $30 an hour. That way the workers can negotiate with the companies directly that they work for. Those are my 2 cents. So, and this is where Alex put, where is it? I just saw it. He doesn't even mention Medicare for all. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, thoughts? I mean, do you guys agree or disagree or what?
Yeah,
I mean,
my point is that, he's just going to be just like AOC,
Yeah. Promise the world, but then never come through. This is called promising and then breaking your promises. Again, guys, he just came into the club. Again, it's a big club and we ain't it, but he's in it. And he's not going to do any of these promises because the club does not like poor people. They don't want us to get ahead.
after he won the primary, he's already sold out. He already went on MSNBC and he pushed,
he backpedaled.
Yep.
Yeah.
Backpedaled from his anti-police stance from 2020.
Yep.
So in fact, I'm going to go to that next because look, one more thing. I'm not saying that I'm against the minimum wage raise. I'm not saying that I'm against any of this.
No.
What I'm
that's
saying,
not what I meant. I'm sorry.
No, I know, but I just want to make this clear. What I meant was, look, he needs to break this down and explain how he's going to do this. Yeah, I know he's not going to do it most likely, but I'm just saying he needs to do that. If he's serious about it, he needs to break it down like, okay, these policies are going to do this and they're going to do this. Or, for example, the minimum wage raise, is it just for full-time workers? Is it for part-time workers? Or what's going to happen with this? It's just general flowery rhetoric, which I've heard from Bernie Sanders, and he didn't do any of it.
And AOC, yep.
And AOC, yeah. So I've heard all this flowery rhetoric before from these progressive politicians or so-called progressive politicians, and nothing ever gets done. Or if they get into power, they do what AOC does, which is sell out to the establishment and sell out to party leadership in order to get a big, powerful role in Washington, which she doesn't get, by the way. The committee. She wanted a committee spot, and she didn't get it.
They fired her from the committee, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah. And the guy the congressman they gave it to died recently of throat cancer. So they gave it to a politician that was dying of throat cancer, and he finally died, and AOC still hasn't gotten this spot. In fact, it went to somebody else. So she sold out for no reason.
Remember, Kamala's working tirelessly on ceasefire.
Oh, yeah, sure. Now let's get to Zohan, breaking his promises. He went on...
I mention one more thing. It is really funny, though, to see the right's reaction towards his win.
Oh, they're melting down over it. Like, they're acting like he's going to destroy New York City when...
Oh my God, the horror of your kids! I mean, go suck a dick. Thank you, Kai, by the way. It's Witchy. No EY.
So, New York City mayoral candidate Zohan Mandani promises to root out intolerance across New York City with a 800% increase in funding for hate crime prevention programs. Which, by the way, also means police department and the NYPD too. But
see, epic fail. Where's that? They fell for it again. And let it rain.
He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
That's right.
All right, let's see what Zohan has to say here.
And I know that Jewish New Yorkers, like Jewish Americans, are fearful in this moment of anti-Semitism. They're fearful, especially after the
bullshit. There's no anti-Semitism.
I'm a Jewish. No. The problems are the Zionists. That's the problem.
He's immediately
Jewish,
saying,
Alex?
Yeah. I thought I explained that to you before.
I'm sorry, that went right out of my head. I totally forgot that. I'm sorry, little brother.
Yeah.
Onward.
He immediately claimed that Jewish people are scared.
And I know that Jewish New Yorkers, like Jewish Americans, are fearful in this moment.
Fearful of what? They have nothing to fear if they didn't do anything.
Fear of the fake boogeyman. Boogie.
Yeah. Because AIPAC and the Anti-Defamation League are pushing this narrative that Jewish people are scared to death because of all the anti-Semitism going on in the country, even though it doesn't really exist. But yeah, that's the narrative they're pushing. So Zohan here, being the sellout that he is pushing it too.
The Islamophobia says that's more worrying than the anti-Semitism.
Well, yeah, that's especially with Iran and stuff. But we'll get to Iran a little later. But let me finish this first.
Of anti-Semitism. They're fearful, especially after the horrific attacks that we saw in Washington, D.C. and in Boulder, Colorado. And they're fearful also...
Oh, those are Christians, by the way. They weren't really Jews. The attack in Washington, nothing to do with it. And they arrested the guy anyway, so it wasn't like, it's just ridiculous.
In conversations that I have heard myself about life in this city, and I spoke to a Jewish man in Williamsburg not too many weeks ago who told me about the fact that he now locks the door that he used to close, that he used to keep.
No, we always have to lock our doors. It's fucking America.
I've had to lock my door forever, so go suck a dick.
Yeah, you always lock your doors. I mean, what are you talking about?
I don't want someone coming in my fucking house.
Guys,
hello.
Hey guys, I didn't have to lock the door for 40 years, and now because of a fake Jewish scandal, fake threats to Jewish people. Now I have to lock my doors. Isn't that horrible, guys? It sounds like a made-up politician anecdote. Like he just made that up.
Open for years because of a fear of who may come in. I spoke to a friend of mine after October 7th who told me about going to his synagogue.
The reason why he's doing this is because he was a parody rapper before he became a politician. There's a lot of his old he was.
I mean, they got all kinds of
he was a parody rapper, and he used to
so just like how AOC was a bartender.
Yeah, kind of like that, They just pluck him.
She was the bar owner. Actually,
they pluck him out of nowhere, out of his obscurity, to be politicians, and they happily accept. Like AOC
they found him in a gay bar somewhere, sucking dick.
And Zohan here also did. Anyways, he would do raps being like openly pro Islam and pro stuff like this, pro Muslim, even though he is Arab, but now he has to backpedal from that, and now he has to suck up to the Jewish community in New York because he thinks he needs to do that in order to win.
This is why you run as an independent, not a Democrat.
25 minutes in, perfect pitchy, suck a dick, going 7.
Is that a good thing?
I don't know, but it seems to be it seems to be tropes on the show now.
For Shabbat services.
Wait, I didn't do it. I didn't say anything. All I said is that a good thing, Kyron.
And hearing the door open behind him and turning around with a tremor going up his back, not knowing who was walking in and what they wished for them. And ultimately, it's through the conversations I've had with Jewish New Yorkers that I have developed a proposal for the Department of Community Safety that would include an 800% increase in funding for hate crime prevention programs.
And what does that mean?
More money for the police.
That means more money for the NYPD. That's exactly what that means.
That means a police state. That means more money for the police. That means more watchdogs and more piggies out there eating donuts.
Because he also was during the George Floyd riots back in 5 years ago. He was anti-police. Like, we got to defund the police. He was so gung-ho about it. Now that he's all of a sudden a Democratic nominee, he says this.
That would include an 800% increase in funding for hate crime prevention programs.
When he says hate crime prevention programs, that's money for the NYPD. That's code for, I'm going to give a bunch more money to the NYPD. More than Eric Adams, more than Michael Bloomberg, more than any other mayor, So I'm going to fund the NYPD further. Please, NYPD, give me more money, campaign contributions, and vote for me. That's what that is.
And that's why I mentioned in the tweet that you'll bring up later. That's why I was saying don't get too excited, because this is what happens.
Because ultimately, we cannot simply say that anti-Semitism has no home in this city or no place in this country. We have to do more than talk about it. We have to tackle it. And that's what we will do through this funding and through this commitment. We will root out bigotry across the 5 boroughs.
Shut up, my head hurts.
That means more money for the NYPD and more, police state. There's more cameras because we have to protect Jews from bad words, basically.
Really, all this is just more surveillance.
I guess his favorite show growing up was NYPD Blue.
Oh, I hated that show. Sorry. But all this means is it's more surveillance, more times that they can watch you. So if you, oh my gosh, for God has forbid you'd actually jaywalk across the street. I mean, people are going to be running after you.
Watch him do stop and frisk.
Yeah, like that one.
I was just thinking that, like Bloomberg, when he was mayor, he instituted stop and frisk. 800% increase in the thought police. Yeah, that's basically what this is. Lucy says the city of New York launched the Office of Prevention of Hate Crimes in September of 2019. So this is what's probably going to get most of that funding from the NYPD. So yeah, that's Zohan Mamdani for you. He's 33 years old. He's a young politician who sold out, who's probably going to be the next mayor of New York City. Good luck with that.
I'm sure he probably supports Ukraine as well.
And Israel.
He hasn't really, I don't think he's been asked about Ukraine, but he's definitely been asked about Israel. Because it became, Cuomo made it a campaign issue because he knows about those old rap videos he did where he was openly anti-Zionist and pro-Muslim. So Cuomo made it a campaign issue, so he had to answer questions about that. And that's when he backpedaled from all that and said, Israel has the right to defend itself, Israel has the right to exist, and the standard talking points that politicians have to give in order to be elected.
To be in this club. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You got to play the game, guys. Play the game.
Time to play the game.
Ugh. All right, I don't like Triple H, but that was a good one. Zing.
So, hold on. So where is he? Where are we? Sorry, give me a second. Israel. Oh, here we go. So Donald. No, I forgot to share my screen.
Well, wait, don't show my tweet with Jeff Miami.
I don't have it, so I'm not sure if you can get to it quickly. But
yeah, well, let me just I'll post it to one of the groups.
Okay.
Yeah,
So yeah. Anyways, when Alex looking for that, as everybody knows, Israel and Iran have a truce, a shaky truce, because last week we were talking about on Pro Wrestling Talk. I saw this that the U.S. were beginning to bomb Iran. It's like, here we go. Here's a full blown invasion. It's coming, because I was like, why would they bomb and not invade? Of course, they ended up bombing the power plants and not invading. I was like, what the hell's going on here?
I just sent you the tweet.
Then Trump claims that okay, I got it. And Trump claims that he had some sort of a peace deal, and I'm like, how? No, you don't. And then it's like the peace deal is apparently holding as of now. So we'll get to that in a second. But so here you go.
First read the tweet. You know that one, yeah. First read that one.
Well, before we start that, can I just say something? I saw something on X, and I don't know how you two feel about this, but I saw something on X that said this temporary ceasefire is because the wrestlers went to Saudi. I swear, you can't make this shit up. I literally saw that on X.
That's something I'm gonna break down more tomorrow, because all of a sudden wrestling fans are geopolitical experts when they're clearly not. But I'll get to that.
Like I said, if only it was in like Dubai instead of Saudi Arabia.
Don't get too excited for Mamdani, folks. He's going to end up falling in line just like AOC and the rest of the Justice Democrat did. But hopefully Cuomo's finally finished for good, which apparently he's
likes for that. But this jackass, of course,
says the loser who supported Tulsi and claims he was an anti-war hero.
But you've said, little brother, many times that you don't support Tulsi anymore.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this person is dumb.
Yeah, he's just a partisan who, thought, hey, it's a gotcha. I got you. That's what that was. This is the same guy who blocked me a long time ago, and now he has his tweets protected. Listen up, you motherfucker. What you don't know is I no longer support Tulsi. I now see her as a fraud that she is, while you, on the other hand, will never do that towards the politicians that you still support today, even though they clearly sold us out. We've seen what Bernie, AOC, and the Justice Democrats have done to us in the past by selling out, and Mamdani will be no different. This isn't the own like you thought it was.
He is one of the worst. Yeah, and I also said that.
Isn't this the politician who got caught with who ran for governor of Florida, didn't he?
Yep.
I forget his name, but he's supposed to be like the next big Obama. And it turns
out the next pick I sent.
And then it turns out he was gay and he was doing a meth with another gay prostitute in a hotel room.
You go to the next pick.
Shocker.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more. So
she's even doing that.
Jeff is one of the worst vile people ever on Twitter. He's a Zionist. He's also a Zionist. I don't know if not much people know about him. He goes after people who are against Israel and who support Palestine. Because I've seen the pics of him going after those people. It's so disgusting.
Yeah.
You may have remember, Angel, a few years ago, when the March for Medicare for All was happening. He compared that to like a Nazi rally or whatever it was. You might remember seeing that.
Hey, we're all Nazis apparently.
Yeah, it's just like this guy. He is one of the worst. This is what he does.
Yeah, so that sucks. Fuck him. I forgot he existed. He blocked me a long time ago. Yeah. So So this is from antiwar.com.
And by the way, also Jeff used to support Jimmy Dore. There was a pic of him hanging out with Jimmy Dore, but now he hates him.
Yeah, just like most people in that space, most people in that PMC liberal Democrat multimillionaire crew used to love Jimmy Dore. Now they all hate him for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And I could mention names, but we'd be here all day, so they don't worth my time. You guys know who they are, so especially I digress. It's shaky Israel and Iran ceasefire appears to hold after Trump tells Israel to stop the bombing. The president said he was unhappy with Israel and that neither side knows what the fuck they're doing. A fragile ceasefire between Israel and Iran appears to be holding after it got off to a shaky start, and the president publicly urged Israel to stop the bombing. Trump announced a truce on Monday night, which was followed by heavy Israeli attacks on Tehran. Iran then hit back for several waves of ballistic missile strikes. Iran violated it, but Israel violated it too, Trump told reporters on the White House lawn before boarding Marine One to go to the NATO summit in The Hague. Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and dropped a load of bombs like the likes which I've never seen before, the biggest load we've ever seen. I'm not happy with Israel.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
I mean, it's not the first time that Trump done this where I'm not happy with Israel, Netanyahu, trust me. And then there's a coordinated bombing of Iran, and they began the process of the bombings.
Everybody believes
they're
me
up
now.
to something. They're definitely up to something when Trump said criticizing Israel like that. This is some sort of deflection or some sort of, look over here while we do something over here, so sleight of hand here is going on. I don't know what it is yet. We'll find out soon enough, my guess is. When Trump announced the ceasefire, he said it would take effect in 12 hours. When I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either, but I'm really unhappy if Israel is going out this morning because of one rocket, Trump said. We have two countries that have been fighting for so long, it's so hard to know what the fuck they're doing, the president added. According to a report from Axios, Iran fired 3 missiles that are either intercepted or landed in open areas, although Iran denied that it fired the missiles past the ceasefire deadline. And Israel sent fighter jets to bomb Iran about the same time Trump was speaking to reporters. After his comments, Trump wrote on Truce Social, Israel, do not drop these bombs. If you do, it's a major violation. Bring your pilots home now. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. I don't know why I had to write this part. And like we don't know he's the president, but okay.
I hate it when he uses all the capital letters. Like, stop being a child, Donald. You're the president. Jesus.
Yeah, that's like yelling, but I'm not going to yell it out. But yeah, it's so off-putting when a grown man does that.
It's so funny when Russell Dobler mocks him when he says that.
Mm-hmm. So the Axios report said that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu then spoke to Trump and said he could cancel the airstrikes, but that Israel significantly scaled back the planned attack and targeted only one radar system. In a follow-up post, Trump said Israel is not going to attack Iran. All the planes will turn around and head home while doing a friendly plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt. The ceasefire is in effect. Thank you very much for your attention in this matter. Again, signing it, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, in all caps. I don't know why he feels the need to tell people he's the president, even though everybody knows he's the president.
That's not true because they did attack Iran, right? They did bomb Iran.
Oh, and by the way, they failed on that attack. They missed the sites, apparently.
Yeah, that's
I'll get to that,
stupid.
too.
That's the funniest part.
Since this morning,
amateurs.
Both Iran and Israel have acknowledged the ceasefire. Iran's Supreme National Security Council credited the Iranian military response and counterattacks the reason why Israel decided to halt its war and said it was ready to respond if Israel violated the truce. In a statement on the ceasefire, Netanyahu said he decided to refrain from additional attacks on Iran after a conversation with Trump. So the Iranians are basically posturing and say it was their military why they stopped, and Netanyahu said because Trump told him to basically to stop, so he stopped. So that's that.
Right, after he was sucking his dick. All right, that's number 10. I agree with that.
Yeah, so let's see here. Whoops. Let me go to this. Bear with me 1 second. Should have saved. have saved it, but here's the thing: the first 3 days of the week was really hot here in the East Coast. There, if you live in the East Coast, you know what I'm talking about, that horrible heat wave
Oh my
that was
god! I got
here.
in my car. It said 106. I went 106.
Yeah,
Jesus, why isn't my car melting?
Yeah, it's been hot
yeah,
here lately. Of course, I live out here, but still.
yeah. It's been really hot here. So me preparing for the show like I normally would is not something that I'm going to do because I was so hot and so tired. But yeah, so anyways, Donald Trump was let's see. Where is it? So yeah, I don't care. I don't care that MSNBC is fact checking Trump. I can't find it right now, but it doesn't really matter.
Fact checking with what? They have the same
Yeah,
bullshit.
they swear up and down that they are fact checking Trump. I'm like, who cares? I mean,
Right, and I'm the Queen of England.
Chaz Chisholm-Holmberg again.
What happened?
Chaz Chisholm homered again. Today.
Oh, okay. You're talking about okay.
He's been so good ever since he came off the IL. So
yeah. So this is what we were talking about a little bit earlier. Initial U.S. intelligence assessment says U.S. didn't destroy Iran's nuclear sites. The White House confirmed that the assessment was real, but claimed it was flat out wrong. Again, Trump is going against intelligence agencies that said, "Oh yeah, we missed the nuclear sites," and Trump is like, "No, we hit them. Trust us, we hit them. We bombed the shit out of them. We hit them, and don't believe what my government actually says. Ignore that part, but." I'm telling you, we hit them. We destroyed all their nuclear power plants and all their nuclear sites. Yeah, that's the fail. I wish I had Price is Right. That, but I don't have it. So yeah, I don't have a thing here I can press and you can hear it. But yeah, just imagine a Price is Right fail music. CNN reported on Tuesday that an initial U.S. intelligence assessment has found that the U.S. bombing of 3 Iranian nuclear sites did not destroy the core components of the sites and likely set back the nuclear program only by a few months. Dun, 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 dun. The assessment was prepared by the Pentagon Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, and was based on a battle damage assessment from U.S. Central Command, in that it could change as the U.S. gathers more intelligence. So the DIA assessment that the U.S. set them back only a few months tops. The report also said the U.S. strikes did not destroy Iran's stockpile of enriched uranium, and that the centrifuges were largely intact. The assessment contradicts President Donald Trump's claims that the bombings of Fordow and Nanats and Isfahan nuclear sites totally obliterated the facilities. So this is the map, I guess, where the stealth fighter jets ended up here. Some of them went back. I don't know. The White House confirmed the existence of the assessment, but did not agree with its findings, since the alleged assessment is flat out wrong and was classified as top secret, but was still leaked to CNN by an anonymous low-level loser in the intelligence community, said White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. The leaking of this alleged assessment is a clear attempt to demean President Trump and discredit the brave fighter pilots who conducted a perfectly executed mission to obliterate Iran's nuclear program, which accepted they didn't. Everyone knows what happens when you drop 14 30,000-pound bombs perfectly on their targets. Total obliteration.
So there's some news from Gen X girl that a war powers resolution vote, it didn't pass. So
of course it didn't pass.
Yeah.
Of course, and the PMC liberals are melting down over that. Like, I can't believe that it didn't pass. I'm like, of course it didn't pass. Like, the Republicans are going to vote to curtail President Trump's power, and most of the Democrats aren't either, because they're thinking to themselves, if Democrats takes the White House, we can have the same power. So they're not going to vote for it either. So why in the world would they think that would have any shot in hell of passing the House? And even if it did pass the House, it dies in the Senate. So it's a total waste of time. Let's see. President Trump also responded to the report, writing on Truth Social, and all caps, of course. Oops, excuse me. Hold on. I just lost it. Fake news CNN, together with the failing New York Times, have teamed up in an attempt to demean one of the most successful military strikes in history. The nuclear sites in Iran are completely destroyed. Both the Times
It was
and
one of the
CNN are getting
most
slammed by the
failure
public.
strikes in history.
So the White House, Trump in particular, is claiming, no, we did a great job, guys. We bombed the shit out of them. We did an amazing job. Iran is still assessing the damage done to its nuclear facilities, but vowed that it would continue its uranium enrichment program, according to the Cradle. Mohammed
I'll be
Islami,
back one. I'll be back one
that's
second.
fine, okay, head of the Iran's Atomic Energy Organization, said that the plans for restarting the facilities have been prepared in advance. So basically, they've been like, yeah, I mean, we knew they're probably going to bomb it, so we're already prepared for this, and we know exactly what we're going to do now to restart our program. Oops. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian said Tuesday that Iran was still not seeking nuclear weapons, but wouldn't give up its legitimate rights, referring to civilian nuclear program. The U.S. had no evidence that Iran decided to build a bomb before Israel launched its attacks, and Tehran made it clear during previous negotiations that it was ready to reduce its uranium enrichment levels as part of a deal with the U.S., which we talked about last week, and saying the U.S. was not negotiating in good faith because they were basically stalling until the Israelis were ready to attack, and then they attacked. So they had no intentions on doing that deal.
Also, sometime later during the stream, do you want to go over Bernie Sanders on Joe Rogan again?
Sure, if we get to it. I mean, if we have time, I don't see why not.
He pointed out that Israel has the right to exist shit again.
Which, of course, I mean, in order to have any type of power to be elected in the U.S., no matter even if it's dog catcher, you have to, profess your love for Israel and give them the right to exist and the right to defend itself. If you don't say that, you're an anti-Semite, you're going to lose every time. So, let's see. Whoops, that's way too small. Let's see. Okay. So this is from Adrian Kellner. Washington strike on Iran, a betrayal of diplomacy, a gift to war. So, to be fair, Trump claims over and over again that the war is over, that we're done with bombing Iran. But at the same time, I get the bad feeling that this is just the calm before the storm. Like, it's going to get worse. And, Israel will find another reason to bomb and try to drag the U.S. into another war. Especially, I suspect it's going to be some sort of false flag attack. That, the U.S. military base, or even here in the States, will get attacked again here in the homeland, and then Trump will use that as a excuse to invade Iran. Just like what happened on 9/11, where that attack happened, and all of a sudden we had to invade Afghanistan and Iraq, and we've been in Africa bombing for decades and since 9/11. So yeah, we have to bomb all over the world because of the 9/11. Which, by the way, U.S. presidents are still using the declaration of war, declaration of attack, whatever, against terrorism from 25 years ago. They're still using that as justification to bomb Africa. They bombed in Somalia recently. Yesterday, Trump ordered new bombings in Somalia. Great. So let's see here. While global diplomats were still exchanging draft terms to revive the nuclear agreement with Iran, the United States launched airstrikes on Iranian nuclear infrastructure. This sudden act of aggression shattered any illusions at the American commitment for peaceful negotiation and revealed the enduring pattern of militarized policy in the Middle East. U.S. officials... Oops, hold on a second. Why is this not working? Oops. Okay, we're good. U.S. officials justified the attack as a response to escalating nuclear threats, but Iran had actively engaged in indirect diplomacy with Washington through European intermediaries. The International Atomic Energy Agency had not reported any significant violations that would warrant such a unilateral military action at this stage. By attacking during ongoing talks, the United States undermined the very framework it once helped build. Again, the parallels of the 2003 Iraq invasion is hard to ignore. Once again, Washington leads in the threat of inflation and manufactured urgency to justify the use of force. Back then, it was Saddam Hussein's alleged weapon of mass destruction. Today, Tehran's enrichment facilities, none of which, are, according to IAEA, are currently weaponizing uranium. Furthermore,
and here's the proof that Iran has the nukes right here.
Yep, nothing. They got dick. Furthermore, the U.S. strike aligns seamlessly with Israeli strategic interests. The Israeli government, facing internal pressure in a prolonged war effort across Gaza and Lebanon, benefits politically from a broadened regional conflict that redirects international scrutiny and consolidates domestic support. As former Iranian diplomat Abbas Aragachi noted, Americans' intervention is a gift to Netanyahu. 100% true. This is not the behavior of a peace-seeking nation. True diplomacy demands restraint, patience, and consistencies. Traits that Washington increasingly fails to exhibit. If Iran responds to military force, the U.S. will likely frame it as an unprovoked aggression, continuing the cycle of demonization that justifies endless intervention. If the world hopes to prevent another disastrous war in the Middle East, we must call out these reckless actions for what they are: a betrayal of diplomacy and an affront to international law. Do these people really think the U.S. gives a shit about international law? We wipe our ass with the international law. We do it all the time. U.S. presidents in Washington do it all the time. What, you think we care about international law and diplomacy? We'll bomb the shit out of you. We'll bomb you to the Stone Age, and you'll thank us for it. That's Washington's attitude. Let's see. Israel first, not America first. Operation that bears clear hallmarks of alignment with Israeli strategic interests rather than American ones. Despite pledges of restoring America first in the Trump leadership, a decision to bomb Iran amid nuclear talks highlight a troubling trend. Foreign policy decisions increasingly reflect Tel Aviv's priorities and not those of the American public, which we talked about before, because Israel actually runs the U.S., and if you even want to get elected as dog catcher, you have to profess your love for Israel. There's no...
Unless you're Thomas Massey.
Well, yeah,
well, I think that's all just like I said, that I think they're letting him talk against the machine because, I mean, it's all just a ploy just to get people back into the machine. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I mean,
I hope so.
He's the only one. I mean, he's been voting pretty much, all his policies against Israel. So,
yeah, he's been principled, even when I don't agree with him. It's like, hey, at least he's consistent. Unlike 99% of politicians who will profess their love for Israel, even though before they were elected, they were anti-Zionist and anti-Israel. But now that they're elected, like Mamdani in New York, all of a sudden, to be fair, he's not elected mayor yet, but he probably will get elected because no Republican's actually winning that seat right now.
It's just like what happened to Chicago mayor, whatever his name is.
Brandon Johnson?
Yeah. He became a piece of shit after he got elected.
Uh-huh.
So did Lori Lightfoot. So did a lot of these other guys. That all I'm saying is just, I know he's consistent, but Thomas Massey seems like a plant. Like a big psyop to get people, oh, yeah, I mean, that's what our government's doing. And then, something's going to happen where, I mean, if they haven't JFK'd him by now, then, I mean, it's because he's literally fighting with them, but on the other side.
Republicans attacking him after his, what he's done. So it's not like Republicans are united with him. So,
so let's see. Let's finish this up. There's no congressional debate, no public deliberation, just a quiet slide into war. And it's ordinary Americans who have paid the price. This conflict will not only risk further regional instability, but also will impose massive financial and human loss on a nation that is still grappling with inflation, healthcare inequality, and veterans of a previous Middle East wars left behind by broken promises. Polling in recent years has shown clear fatigue among the American public with endless wars. Yeah, I don't buy that because, again, the same American public either votes Democrat or Republican, and they're all pro-war. So, so what? You're going to keep voting for two pro-war parties?
Well,
and meanwhile, we're tired of war?
Keep doing. I'm sure you saw her tweet.
Who?
I didn't remember she's saying that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she said now she's going to vote for Democrats because of what Trump did. So that's not an answer either, sweetheart, because again, if Democrats are pro-war, just like Republicans. So if you really were anti-war, you would vote for an anti-war party. There's a lot of third parties like that.
So why is she doing that?
And that's the thing. You're right. She knows better because she's a part of the space, so she should know better. But She's acting like she doesn't. Uh,
Psyop.
yeah, polling in recent years has showed a clear fatigue for. I read that. Yeah, so Iran, the intervention in Iran threatened to reignite precisely the kind of prolonged military entanglement that voters on both sides of the political spectrum have repeatedly rejected. If anything, this moment reveals that the real American first policy would be diplomacy, not deference to foreign allies' war doctrine. Yeah, so there you go. But that was written June 22nd, which was Monday, I believe it was, so or Tuesday. So yeah, today allegedly the war's over and there's nothing to do with
Actually, June 22nd was a Sunday. So.
Okay, it's written Sunday. Excuse me, written Sunday. So
Yeah, but the war is definitely not over. It hasn't even begun yet.
No, it's only begun. That's
yeah. It's like I said on Twitter, and I said it here on the title of this episode. It's a calm before the storm. Because
remember when Trump supporters kept using that excuse that Trump never started any new wars? Well, they can't use that excuse anymore. It's over.
Dun, dun, dun. And those people, literally, I said this to them when they were saying, oh, well, he didn't start any wars. Yeah, he didn't end any either. Exactly. Also, he was trying to get a war with Iran the first time by killing Soleimani. Or however the fuck Trump said it.
No. It's Soleimani's the correct name. He just couldn't pronounce it.
Okay, well, Soleimani. He killed Soleimani so he could get a war with Iran. It's Iran that didn't want to poke the bear. And I see it from their point of view because guess what? If they get into a war with America, guess what? We're going to bomb them back to the Stone Age. And guess what's going to come out of it? Probably a newer ISIS.
Yeah. That's the thing. If you do regime change again, then what's going to happen? Something worse than the Ayatollahs is going to pop up. So Netanyahu is demanding a visit to the White House after Iran war. According to the reports, the Trump administration is also looking for a regional deal involving the entire Middle East. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu wants to meet with President Trump at the White House in the coming weeks after a 12-day U.S.-Israeli war in Iran, Axios reported on Thursday. I don't like the framing of this because basically it frames it as the war is over after 12 days, and it really isn't. At least I don't think it is. I hope it is, but I'm not buying that for a second. It also says after Iran war, like it's over, which I don't like the framing of that, but I'll digress from that for now. Israeli officials said that Netanyahu wants to celebrate the joint bombing campaign with Trump as the Israeli leader is declaring the war a victory. It's like George W. Bush after a few weeks in Afghanistan. Mission accomplished. Remember that mission accomplished on the battleship? That's what this is. It's mission accomplished 2.0. Because I get the feeling this war is not over and we're going to have to put boots in the ground in Iran. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong, but my 90-day prediction for boots on the ground is still there. It's still viable. So we'll see.
Angel, did you see that thing on X where it was like a picture of adult kids sitting next to each other? It was like Trump's kids and Netanyahu's kids, and they were all at the beach. Mm-hmm. And then below it says your kids, and it had pictures of soldiers.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Not Trump. Netanyahu's son is living in Miami, I think going to school here.
Of course he is.
So he's not even in Israel, even though technically every single military-age male has to serve time in the Israeli Defense Forces. Except for Netanyahu's son, he's exempt, obviously. But every other Israeli has to serve at least 4 years in the IDF.
All I can say to that is suck a dick, because I'm not sending my son to war, and I'm not going to die for Israel.
Although Israel got hit hard by Iranian missiles right up into the ceasefire took effect, something President Trump has acknowledged. Israel got hit really hard. Those ballistic missiles, boy, they took out a lot of buildings, Trump told reporters at the NATO summit in The Hague on Wednesday.
The beauty of our missiles.
Yeah, every single Trump and Netanyahu and all these Western leaders should have been arrested and tried at The Hague. But of course they're not, because The Hague is going to bend their knee to them. Let's see. Netanyahu may be seeking additional military aid from the U.S. to replenish Israel's interceptors and bombs in the ongoing conflict. The Axios report said that Trump and Netanyahu are closer than ever, and the U.S. and Israeli officials had discussed the possibility of Netanyahu's third White House visit this year. So this will be the third White House visit for Netanyahu this year. But so far, a date has not been set. The report comes after Trump called for the corruption charges against Netanyahu to be dropped, which is an Israeli official claims a part of his strategy to bring the end of the war in Gaza. The release of all the hostages and an end to Netanyahu's trial, a serious regional move. According to a report from Israel Hayom, Trump and Netanyahu has reached an understanding on the terms for a potential deal that would end Israel's genocidal onslaught in Gaza and involved other moves in the region, but many of the terms are likely unacceptable to Hamas and Palestinians in general. According to the report, the terms will include, here we go, this is where the Palestinians get fucked, but let's read this. Gaza hostilities will conclude within 2 weeks. Ending conditions will encompass 4 Arab nations, including Egypt and the United Arab Emirates, to administer the Gaza Strip, replacing Hamas. The remaining Hamas leadership will face exile to other countries while hostages gain freedom.
You condemn Hamas.
So basically what this is a deal to allow Egypt and the United Arab Emirates, the UAE, to run the Gaza Strip. So just handing it over to Egypt and the UAE.
Yeah, but you can't do that. You can't do that because that's not your land. You can't do that. You can't just hand it over to Egypt and say, "Here, Egypt, you deal with it."
That's what Trump says. You can't do that. You can't do that.
Jeez.
Number 2, multiple nations globally will accept numerous Gaza inhabitants seeking immigration. Okay, I thought that probably is migrants, but I don't know why it says immigration. No, it says EMIGR, immigration. Anyways, those are they basically nations have to accept Palestinian refugees.
Okay, why don't you do that, Israel? Oh wait, I forgot.
By the way, Israel is discriminating against Palestinian Israelis. They're just straight up discriminating against them. When the bombings happened, I think we talked about this last week. They were refusing Palestinian Israelis access to bomb shelters. They just left them out there to die, pretty much.
I mean, look how they treat Palestinians here. I mean, basically, they treat them like shit. And if you go into the government, guess what, Palestinian Americans? You have to bow down and kiss the ass and suck the dick of Israel.
Yep. The Abraham Accords expansion would bring Syria, Saudi Arabia, and additional Arab and Muslim countries to recognize Israel and establish official relations.
So you should have a little counter. I'm sorry, Angel, to interrupt. You should have a little counter of how many times I say suck a dick. That was 14. Okay.
That's something we could possibly put in the show, but we'll see. I mean, I'll have to see if I can technically do it, but Trump wants to expand the Abraham Accords. Basically, that would be Muslim countries recognizing Israel's right to exist. So the expansion would bring in Syria, Saudi Arabia, and additional Arab and Muslim countries to recognize Israel and establish official relationships.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, okay?
Yeah, I don't buy that.
I stopped myself.
Israel will declare its willingness for future Palestinian conflict resolution under the 2 states concept, contingent upon the Palestinian Authority reforms. So Israel would maybe one day accept the 2-state solution, but the Palestinian Authority has to reform.
No, we want a 1-state solution.
Yeah, but Washington's still pushing, at the very least, for 2 states, even sometimes 1 state, basically meaning they wipe out Gaza and wipe out the Palestinians, and Israel takes the land. So that's the 1-state solution they talk about.
I mean, that's their goal. They want to wipe out a whole bunch of people just for no fucking reason.
Yeah. President Trump's Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff said in an interview on Wednesday that the U.S. may soon announce that Arab countries are willing to join the Abraham Accords, referring to the normalization deals Israel signed with the UAE and Bahrain during the first Trump administration. Syria, which is now led by former Al-Qaeda leader, has been engaged in normalization talks with Israel. But Saudi Arabia has maintained that it won't normalize relations with Israel, without a Palestinian state.
And that's why these Palestinian camps should have not been celebrating when they got Assad out of Syria, because that's what happened. They got a worse leader.
Yeah. So, by the way, their current president is a former Al Qaeda leader.
Yeah.
Which what happened? I thought
I saw the Palestinian count celebrating. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?
Why are you celebrating the overthrow of Bashar al-Assad when he was on your side?
Yeah, you don't have to like him, but he was elected fairly, and Syrians really like him. So.
Luckily, he made it to Russia because when the overthrow first happened...
you can have open slave markets now where you can actually, buy slaves. I mean, who wouldn't want that?
Yeah.
So Saudi Arabia actually kind of may be doing the right thing here. They don't want to normalize with Israel without a Palestinian state. But if the U.S. kind of prods Mohammed bin Salman, I'm sure he eventually would agree to it. Because if they lose their... Here's the thing, Saudi Arabia, though, the U.S. can't force them to do anything because they give us cheap oil. Without that cheap oil, our gas prices would be $8 to $10 a gallon. So they need Saudi Arabia.
Saudi's oil butt buddy. I think I said that, and you liked it, Angel. Because I was talking. Actually, I was talking about wrestling. That nothing would happen to the wrestlers in Saudi because that's our oil butt buddy, man. I mean, we got to take it in the ass for them.
Yeah, talking about it.
We're going to Saudi Arabia. I don't know what WWE would do about it, but I would wear something representing UAE instead, or whatever it is.
AEW, you mean?
No,
AEU?
No,
UAE, because that's where Dubai is located.
The United Arab Emirates. He's talking about. For now, there's not. For now,
I've been interested in visiting Dubai. It looks like really.
Yeah. For now, there does not appear to be any U.S. pressure on Israel to stop the genocide in Gaza.
Of course.
And Palestinians continue to be slaughtered by Israeli forces every day. So Dave DeCamp wrote this.
Tell us something we don't know.
Yeah.
Right,
so
Vidor would say, and now you know the rest of the story.
Yeah.
The more you know, and the little star, right?
Yeah, so I don't like the framing in that article because it basically implies that the war is over, but. Other than that, it's a good article, So it's informative.
The Trump supporters talking about how Trump stopped the war or whatever. I'm like, oh my god!
Stop the war that he started. I don't think so, Mary Poppins. Try again.
So we kind of talked about that article briefly brought up the corruption trial of Netanyahu. Of course, Trump calls for the end of Netanyahu's corruption trial. The president said the U.S. had saved Israel and now saved Netanyahu. In a long post on his Truce social account Wednesday, President Trump called for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's corruption trial to come to the end in a strong show of support for the Israeli leader, who is wanted by the International Criminal Court for his role in the war crimes in Gaza. Netanyahu is on trial for 3 charges of bribery, theft, and breach of trust. I was shocked to hear that the state of Israel, which has had one of its greatest moments in history and is strongly led by Bibi Netanyahu, is continuing its ridiculous witch hunt against their great wartime prime minister, Trump said.
Oh my god, shut the fuck up, Trump.
Bibi, they're friends. They're calling him Bibi, so... Bibi and I just went through hell together.
Bibi and I suck each other's dicks. Oh, did I say that?
That too.
Yeah, you're out of here, Steph.
Fighting a very tough and brilliant longtime enemy of Israel, Iran, and Bibi could not have been happier, sharper, or stronger in his love for the incredible Holy Land, the president added.
Did he give that stupid thumbs up? Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. He's...
And there's that.
He does that because that's where he's gonna put his thumb. He's gonna put it up BB's ass.
There's the JD Vance baby face again.
He makes me physically ill.
Well, he could be president of the United States in 4 years, so look forward to that. Trump said that he had just learned that Bibi had been summoned to court on Monday and called for the trial to be canceled immediately.
Calm down.
Or for Netanyahu to receive a pardon. It was the United States of America that saved Israel. Now it's going to need the United States of America to save Bibi Netanyahu.
What are they going to call it? Free Netanyahu?
The White House, that Trump will or the White House account will put out posts on X talking about how great Netanyahu is and he should be released, or the trial should be canceled, whatever. Yep. On Thursday, Netanyahu requested the court delay his testimony and criminal trial by 2 weeks. His lawyer pointed to Israel's onslaught in Gaza and recent war with Iran to justify delaying the trial, saying that the Israeli leader must devote all his time and energy to handling top priority diplomatic national security issues, including the management of the war in Gaza and dealing with the hostage crisis.
Or to quote from Total Recall, 2 weeks.
Yeah, so basically, he started the war on Iran in order to delay his corruption trial. That's exactly why Netanyahu did this, because now his lawyer is saying, well, he has to focus on, leading the country through war. So he cannot be here for his trial. We have to delay it for 2 weeks, according to this. But I guarantee you,
Iran keeps bombing Tel Aviv.
yeah, I guarantee you they're gonna call for the indefinite delay of his trial until the wars are over, which will never be over. On a post in X, Netanyahu thanked President Trump for calling for an end to the trial. Thank you, President Trump. I was deeply moved by your heartfelt support for me and your incredible support for Israel and the Jewish people, he wrote. I look forward to continuing working with you to defeat our common enemies, liberate our hostages, and quickly expand the circle. Peace.
Peace.
Yep. Even though peace is war is peace, and and all that 1984 Orwellian sayings.
Didn't
war
I tell
is peace.
you that I said this to somebody? I don't remember if it was Snow. I hope Snow is still in the comment section. But the elites are going to do this thing where they make this all normalized. War is peace.
Mm-hmm.
Black is white, and you will own nothing and be happy and eat the bugs, and then you'll be dead.
I'll be back in 1 second.
That's all right. Many members of Netanyahu's government also thanked Trump, while opposition leaders criticized the U.S. president's intervention in Israel's affairs. The Trump administration also recently appeared to help Netanyahu resolve a political crisis that threatened his hold on power. The U.S. ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, met with ultra-Orthodox politicians who were threatening to dissolve the government over a lack of draft exception for Haredi Jews. I don't know what Haredi Jews are, but I guess it's some sort of very conservative ultra Jew sect.
It's just, I mean, they're super, super Orthodox, I guess. But fucking Huckabee should be in jail. He was selling Bible verses to cure cancer.
Haredi Jews, also known as ultra.
Remember when his daughter was press secretary?
Yeah, and she's now governor of a state, I think. Now I forget which one right now. Haredi Jews, also known as ultra-Orthodox Jews, are a segment of Orthodox Judaism characterized by strict adherence to Jewish law and tradition, often maintaining a distinct lifestyle with a focus on religious study and community. So they're very ultra-Orthodox conservative Jews, which is why they want an exemption from joining the IDF. But Netanyahu wants them to join the IDF, so there's a big political fight.
No. You have to join the IDF, and you have to die for the causes that you put our poor kids in. So go suck a dick and fuck yourself.
Who was threatening to dissolve the government over lack of draft exception for Haredi Jews, and told him the U.S. would see the move as destabilizing and pointed to Iran as a justification to keep the government together. The crisis was ultimately resolved, and less than a week later, the U.S. backed Israel's attack on Iran. So the U.S. has been meddling in Israel's business now recently. And those Jews are ready to dissolve the government in order to get Netanyahu out of there. But the U.S. stepped in and is like, look, Iran, bad guy. Please don't do this. Like, okay. Netanyahu's corruption trial and his desire to remain in power are seen as some of his main motivations for continuing genocidal war in Gaza and waging other wars in the region. And Israeli officials told Israeli media that Trump's call to end the trial was part of a larger move that's meant to bring an end to the war in Gaza, the release of all hostages, and end to Netanyahu's trial, and a serious regional move. So Trump is openly trying to protect Netanyahu and his crimes. And
I mean, when you suck the dick, you gotta suck it good. That's 16. I'm telling you, we need a counter on here.
Let's see.
This is Mrs. Witchy Perfect joining you from my beach house. So someday, maybe. We'll see.
The Ayatollah Khomeini says Iran will never surrender to the U.S.
A rock and roller. Sorry. I hate Chris Jericho. I hate that fucker.
In his first address since the ceasefire, Khomeini claimed that the victory over the U.S. and Israel. Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khomeini delivered his first address since the ceasefire with Israel that took a defiant tone, saying that the country would never surrender to the U.S. Khomeini claimed victory over the U.S. and Israel after 12 days of battle. I offer my congratulations on the victory over the fallacious Zionist regime. With all the commotion and all those claims, the Zionist regime was practically knocked out and crushed under the blows of the Islamic Republic, he said. My second congratulations and related to our dear Iran victory over the U.S. regime. The U.S. regime entered the war directly because it felt like if it didn't, the Zionist regime would be completely destroyed, the Iranian leader added. Khomeini downplayed the U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear facility, saying they didn't do anything significant. Although the extent of the damage remains unclear, President Trump claimed that he obliterated the facilities, which Khomeini called a bizarre exaggeration. During the war, Trump demanded Israel's unconditional surrender, which Khomeini said revealed the U.S.'s real goal and that the nuclear program and other issues served as pretext. They bring up all kinds of pretexts, but at its core, it boils down to one thing. They want Iran to surrender. Khomeini also referred to Iran's attack on U.S. Al Udeid base in Qatar, saying it was a major event and that the U.S. was downplaying it. Iran had notified the U.S. ahead of the missile strikes to avoid casualties, and Trump had thanked Tehran for the cooperation. The Iranian leader warned that Iran could attack again in the face of future U.S. aggression. Again, this is all posturing and chest pounding. They haven't really attacked the U.S. too much. It's quite significant. Such an action could be repeated in the future. Should any aggression occur, the enemy, the aggressor, will definitely pay a heavy price, he said. So this is more grandstanding, more chest thumping, more posturing. But ultimately, Iran didn't really do much to the U.S. It's just more, like Trump. I do believe that when Trump says, well, they told the U.S., look, we're bombing this place and get your guys out of there.
It's just like that Fox News interview he did. Like, we got to take the oil. We have the oil. And then
No, we're not taking the oil. I mean, she's like, no, don't say that. I mean, we're not taking the oil, right?
Cut the mic. Cut the
mic. Well, maybe we will. Maybe we won't. We can do whatever the fucking hell we want.
So
Trump goes suck a dick.
Yeah.
19.
So now after the attack, the Iranians are telling. Oops, where are we? Here we go. The Iranians, saying Iran's foreign minister says no plans to restart talks with U.S. despite Trump's claim. The White House has acknowledged there's no date set for talks. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said Thursday that Iran has no plans to restart negotiations with the U.S., contradicting claims made by President Trump, who said a day earlier that Washington and Tehran will hold talks next week. Some speculations about the resumption of negotiations should not be taken seriously, he said. I would like to state clearly that there's no agreement, arrangement, or conversation that have been made to start new negotiations. No plan has been set to start negotiations. The White House also acknowledged on Thursday that no date has been set for talks with Iran. In other comments, Araghchi pointed to the fact that Tehran was engaged in negotiations with the U.S. when the U.S. backed an Israeli attack on Iran that eventually launched its own direct airstrikes against Iranian nuclear facilities. In the recent negotiations, they tried to lure us into giving up rights of our nation. When some certain events occurred, they imposed war and unleashed the criminal Zionist regime to carry out attacks. Negotiations between the U.S. and Iran appeared to be at an impasse before Israel launched its war, as the Trump administration demanded Iran to stop enriching uranium, which Iranian officials made clear was non-starter. However, the talks continued for several rounds, and Iran was set to present a counterproposal to the U.S., but Israel began bombing Iran 2 days before the negotiations. According to a report from CNN, Trump administration considering a deal with Iran that would give the country access to $30 billion in investments, likely from Gulf Arab state countries to rebuild its nuclear facilities, but under the condition that Tehran won't enrich uranium. Iranian officials still insisting that they won't give up uranium enrichment, but it remains unclear how long it would take them to restart an enrichment program. Araghchi acknowledged the U.S. did serious damage to nuclear facilities that it bombed and said Iran's nuclear agencies was assessing the extent of it. A detailed assessment of the damage is being carried out by experts from the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran, he said. So, yeah, the Iranians are not restarting negotiations with the U.S., contradicting Trump's claim that they're going to continue negotiations. So, Trump lied. Big surprise there.
No, really? He lied? Holy shit.
Yeah.
No! Say it ain't so, Daddy!
Or that woman from the Trump inauguration years ago. No.
Hey, I'm
Right.
Chef over there on Kick. This is what I was talking about. The mission accomplished photo with Trump superimposed there. It's mission accomplished 2.0. That's what this is.
Yeah.
And
what Trump will do, now watch my swing.
we have to get rid of this terrorist scum. Now watch this drive. And he does his drive like when he's playing golf. I'm like, come on. At least is that out of touch that he thinks that's a good idea?
He's gonna throw the first pitch at Yankee Stadium in the World Series this year.
Oh God, and the Yankees have to make the World Series this year before that could happen.
Yeah.
So let's do this. And my voice needs a break, so we're gonna watch the President of the United States full remark after successful U.S. military strikes on Iran nuclear facilities.
Thank you very
Just pause for a second. Remember when Benny Johnson, he praised Trump for carrying a coat?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success.
No, they weren't.
Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely...
They were a success, guys. Isn't that great?
and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier.
See, he's threatening more attacks and knows exactly
Also,
what
where
he's telling me.
are the Israel flag pins? Where are those?
American Department of Defense and Rubio doesn't have one, so you're all American. So
for 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel.
No.
Death to America, death to Israel. Bullshit, though.
Killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs.
Not true.
That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani.
Oh, now
I decided...
Soleimani.
Steph, I think you might need to connect your audio again, because... Like
no, I'm sorry. I was on. It's like, well, I killed Soleimani. I mean, Marty. I can say it. Oh, suck it, Dick Trump.
Ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu.
Bibi.
We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this.
What is J.D. Vance looking at? Like he's looking over here instead of looking at the camera. It's just
He's
weird.
probably looking at some idiot going, "Yeah, suck my dick, Trump." Yeah.
He's like, the fuck is wrong with that guy? And he has that look like
this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done.
Yeah,
And
actually,
most
it looks like he's
importantly, I
trying
want to
not to fall
congratulate
asleep.
the great American patriots
Right.
who flew
Oh,
those
shit.
magnificent machines tonight,
Shouldn't have drank
and
that.
all
that-
of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin Kane, spectacular general, and all
Spectacular
of the
general.
brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than
Oh, fuck
we have witnessed.
Trump.
Not for you or not for your family, not for the elites, but
Yeah,
for
it'll be
normal Americans, yeah, there'll
send
be
to
a
war.
tragedy and disaster.
You'll send me and because technically I think it's 47 you can retire from the army. So technically you and I would have to go into the army there, Angel, and you too, Alex, little brother.
I'm not. I'm not technically not disabled, but yeah, since
Oh, I'm going to fucking Canada. Fuck them. I ain't going to. I'm not going to die for
Yeah,
Israel.
if they send me, I would move immediately.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I would be
It's over
hi
the-
ho Canada. Here I come.
I
No, I'll be seeing you
probably
soon.
want to maybe move to Dubai, possibly.
the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank
the third string Fox News host. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I will all be waiting in bated breath for that press conference.
everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love
Fuck
you,
God.
God, and we love our great military.
No,
Protect
you
them.
don't.
God bless
That's you,
the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless
the United
America.
States.
Thank you very much.
God.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fuck God and fuck Israel. Fucking pansy. Fucking toupee wearing motherfucker.
that was the president of the United States, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and he makes me fucking ill.
As Misty would say, we're so fucked.
We're so fucked. That's right. He literally makes me want to not have children anymore.
I've never been
Almost.
interested in having children. Sorry, it's just.
Well, you'll change your mind when you have one,
Yeah.
Alex. Trust me, they can change your mind, little brother. Hey, I didn't really want my son to begin with. I mean, I wanted him when I found out I was pregnant, but like I wasn't really sure I wanted to have kids at first, and then I was like, I did want to have kids, and then my son changed my life completely. So I mean, I don't know where I'd be without my son. So they will change your mind.
This is the Iran Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's video. The U.S. is entering a war 100% to his own detriment. So let's watch the Ayatollah here.
Of rock and rolla! No, sorry. I hate you, Jericho. Fuck you.
آمریکایی‌ها
The American.
اونایی که
You can read the
با
subtitles.
سیاست‌های این منطقه آشنا هستن میدانند که ورود آمریکا در این قضیه 100% به ضرر اوست. آنچه که اونو در این زمینه ضربه خواهد خورد به مراتب بیشتر است از آنچه که ایران ممکنه صدمه آمریکا اگر ورود در این میدان بشه، ورود نظامی در این میدان بمانه، صدمه جبران ناپذیر خواهد بدون تردید.
Yeah, and
Where's
that's
the
what I
lie?
was saying. Like, Trump doesn't give a fuck about any of this. Literally, he's been poking the Iranian bear forever. This is what he wanted his first term, and Iran wouldn't take the bait. And it's not because they're not pussies. They just know that if they get into a conflict with America, guess what? We're gonna blow the tits off of them. And I feel bad for the Ayatollah. I feel bad for Iran right now because they're between a rock and a hard place right now.
Yeah, they are, and there's not much really they can do about it. Either they they can't attack Washington or they can't attack U.S. military bases without telling the U.S. Like they did, but they told Trump, "Look, we're attacking at this time, and the bombs will hit at this time. Please, do what you got to do to, make sure they don't hit your base." That's why Trump said, "Oh, we thank Tehran for their cooperation, to protect the U.S." Basically, that was a grandstanding bombing, or it's not the word I'm looking for, but basically, it's a bombing that would basically make their citizens happy.
Did our chat fall asleep? Come on, chat, wake up, wake up, wake up.
We haven't seen much from the chat in a while, so hopefully people are still watching and actually enjoying the show.
Come on, wake up, wake up. But I think that this really puts it together that Iran has some very stable-minded people, and we have the lunatics literally running the asylum.
They aren't the psychopaths that the U.S. makes them out to be. Hold on a second. I mean, the U.S. always makes them out to be like these psychopaths, but they really aren't.
No.
So, because they would have bombed the U.S. a long time ago if that was the case, but they haven't, and they won't because they know what would happen if
they were adhering to the deal that Trump got us out of. They were adhering to that deal, and you still have people on Fox News saying, "Oh, they have a nuclear weapon. They just aren't telling us," and there's no signs of it anywhere. But I'm telling you, they have a fucking nuke somewhere.
It's just Jeff Epstein killed himself.
Yeah.
That bullshit. The irony of that is, who's not telling us about their weapons program? Israel.
Boom.
They're not. They're never.
Clips of Netanyahu saying for years and years that Iran will be nuking, like in a matter of weeks or months or whatever.
Iran.
He's been saying that for years and years.
He's been telling U.S. presidents that since the 80s. He told Reagan that the Iranians would have a nuclear weapon within 2 weeks. He's been using 2 weeks talking point for 30 plus years, and they still don't have They still don't have the bomb.
They still don't have it, and they don't want it.
But this is a video that that tells us how many nuclear nukes that each country has. So, and it goes from the less nukes to the most nukes. So,
why does Japan have like the least? What the fuck?
Well, you see that. So let me just play this.
Did you know the country?
Oops, that's the Game of Thrones intro. Let me mute that. Yeah, that's definitely copyrighted. Do you know the country with the most nuclear bombs
Japan
in the world?
has -2.
That has to be 2. But this is AI generated, so they put -2. But
okay,
there's no such thing as a negative energy bomb, or not yet.
I was gonna say that means they don't have any bombs.
Yeah, they have 2 bombs apparently. So they have 2. Netherlands have 10. By the way, these are given to them by the U.S. So we gave them 10 bombs, like here. Belgium has 15. Again, the U.S. gave it to them. Turkey has 20. U.S. gave it to them. Germany has 20. The U.S. gave it to them again. Italy has 35. The U.S. gave it to them.
Jesus
North Korea has 50, which the U.S. didn't give them. Yeah, they definitely don't want the North Koreans having the bomb, but they do. So
well, and that's the funniest part because they were talking about little Rocket Man and Trump was poking the bear at North Korea, and then they fell in love and started sucking each other's dicks, and now we don't have to worry about North Korea. I got him under wrap. He can suck my dick anytime. Oh, shut up, Trump. Nobody cares.
All right, let's see. Israel has 90.
Obviously.
It's an open secret. It's an open secret that Israel had the bomb, but they don't acknowledge it. They never acknowledged it to this day. Still,
very interesting. They don't say that under Israel.
Pakistan is 170, which is what I was worried about when I covered a month ago on the show, 2 months ago, when Pakistan and India openly started hostilities. I'm like, oh shit, they're attacking each other. They both have nuclear weapons. This is not good. Luckily, it seemed like a lot of that's calmed down, but. Pakistan is 170. India is 172. They're both nuclear powers. So it's like, oh my God, they're attacking each other. What the fuck? This is not going to end well if they keep attacking each other. Let's see. The United Kingdom has 225.
I was going to say United States.
Oh, no. We have a lot more. You'll see in a second. But we have a lot more than 225. So. France has 290 nuclear weapons or nuclear bombs. I mean to say. Here's China with 500 plus. China, and look at this.
Holy shit. That's
The
literally
United
the Twin
States.
Towers.
The United States has 5,244 bombs.
Jesus.
Yeah, we're so fucked.
And number one is Russia with 5,880 bombs. So
The difference is that Russia's
I know where they all are.
Mhm. So the issue with most of Russia's bombs, and they were made during the Cold War, so they're really old. So Russia is trying to modernize their nuclear bombs to more modern standards, like the U.S. has. So they're in the process of modernizing their nuclear stockpile now. Which, look at this, the U.S. and Russia have like 10,000 bombs combined, at least 12,000 bombs combined.
How many does Ukraine have?
None.
They were not listed.
None. They gave up when the Cold War ended and the Soviet Union collapsed. The U.S. came to agreement with them. They can give up their bombs in exchange for protection, which is what the Ukrainians are mad about. The U.S. won't protect them now. The only thing they're doing is giving
we did a proxy
weapons.
war with them. What more did they want? Oh wait, they thought we actually cared about them. Yeah, sorry, Ukraine.
That's why they gave up the bombs they had once they became a country. Unfortunately for them, they trusted the U.S. And now we're giving them support. It's not like we're putting troops on the ground, but
we're giving them money and we're sucking their dick and doing anything they want.
I still thought it was funny when
Russia's
Trump told Zelensky, "You don't have the cards. You don't have the cards." You know?
I love
And yet
that.
he's sucking his dick and still giving him military support.
Yeah.
When everyone's like, "Oh, he's pulling out support for," no, he wasn't, because of Doge or whatever the fucking hell Elon Musk thinks he's doing.
Well, no, Elon Musk.
Doge. Yeah, he's a douche.
Elon's out in the administration, but
oh, did the dude have a little spell?
Remember when he called out Trump? Saying he was on the Epstein files, but then he had to apologize. So.
Yeah, he had to apologize like a little bitch. And then he's like, oh, fine, Trump, I'll just suck your dick. All right, fine.
I remember he's like, chainsaw.
Just to make you happy.
Huh? Let's see here.
I'm telling you, we need a counter on the show. I've lost count now.
Yep. So let's see here. There's.
Oh yeah, so you want to go over the Bernie and Rogan interview?
Yeah.
Ugh. You want me to throw up? Ugh. I don't think anyone else does. Although I think our audience fell asleep. Wake up!
Ah, look at that. This is nice. This is, before we get to that, let's talk about what GoFundMe is doing to Gaza and the Palestinians there, because
go fund yourself.
Yeah, this is like super like outrageous here. As Gaza starves, GoFundMe is accused of blocking millions of dollars raised. GoFundMe is accused of unfair restrictions and financial freezes on Palestinian aid fundraisers.
Might want to close that ad.
I don't know why this was here.
No, there's an X. There's an X next to it. On the right.
Okay, I didn't see that. GoFundMe is accused of blocking millions of dollars of life-saving aid from reaching Gaza. Charity leaders, activists, and desperate Palestinians in Gaza have condemned the crowdfunding website for shutting down or blocking withdrawals from Palestinian-related fundraising pages, and have accused the bosses of having blood on their hands.
I mean, it's nuts. Why would you do that? You know why they did it? Because they were told to by the elites. Hey, stop that funding, and by the way, give us the $1 million.
Despite questions from Al Jazeera, the company has not revealed the amount of money raised on its platform for Gaza that had been frozen in its system or has been refunded to its donors. But it has told Al Jazeera that more than $300 million have been raised on the platform for both Palestinian and Israelis since Hamas's October 7th attacks on Israel in 2023, the beginning of the Israel war in Gaza. The way,
no, it started way before that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's 100% true. But by the way, how many Israeli fundraisers have been canceled? My guess is none. But Palestinians, they're all being canceled and they're all being frozen, and people have had their monies returned allegedly, even though I wouldn't be surprised if GoFundMe kept all the money. Hala
Oh, I'm
Hala
sure they would.
Shabad, the founder of mutual aid group the Shamir Project, said in September that more than $250,000 of donations to her organization was refunded. The London-based NGO sector worker described the closure of her GoFundMe page as a disaster for her group's efforts to provide emergency aid in the enclave. The Samir Project runs a camp for displaced people in the Deir al-Bahala, providing healthcare and essentials to its residents. Paid for monies that until now have been raised to GoFundMe, totaling more than $1 million. It also funds food, water, shelter, and clothing for people across Gaza.
Remember when the Australian group of people or whatever, when they posted they were they were just gonna send food and all this stuff to Gaza, and then they got killed afterwards.
Yeah, they got killed, and who knows what happened to that stuff. Shabah said she was treated like scum by GoFundMe, despite her group pages raising about $44,000 for it in transaction fees. Again, yeah, these GoFundMe takes a percentage of your the money that you raise, so they took in about $44,000 in transaction fees, but they canceled fundraisers. And by the way, they won't return that $44,000 that they took. Our GoFundMe.
Why would they? I keep forgetting I'm on mute. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't hear you because I'm not looking at what our videos and the stream itself. I'm looking at the article.
That earlier, and I saw her talking. I was like, "We don't hear you."
Yeah, I was looking.
I know, you forget
because I'm looking at
mute.
I'm looking
Okay,
at the
I'm good.
article, so I'm not looking at the stream and what's going on. So that's what. Yeah,
It's okay.
That's why I
just
didn't notice
remember,
that
you're
I
on
keep
mute.
talking and you're talking. I'm not hearing you. So that's what's going on. Our GoFundMe page had daily updates with complete cost breakdowns of every single initiative we did. Everything is well documented with receipts, she said. The information, including all transfers, were forwarded to GoFundMe. Yet they still choose to shut us down. GoFundMe notifies its page organizers there will be a review process after they launch fundraisers related to Palestine or the conflict in the Middle East, as is phrased with the company's compliance team in emails seen by Al Jazeera. The company claims it's part of their standard verification process, but critics says appears to inordinately restrict Gaza-related pages rather than those for other causes, such as Israel or Ukraine. See, there it is again. I suspected that they're not canceling fundraisers for Israel, but also Ukraine too, So they're definitely not canceling those. Those are perfectly fine and reasonable. But Gaza and Palestine, we have to do a review process. We have to put in all these restrictions, and then we'll just steal all your money anyways.
Hey, GoFundMe, go suck a dick.
And then
suck a dick.
And then we'll steal all your money anyways.
I wouldn't use that.
Go fund yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go fund yourself.
GoFundMe has refused to disclose figures that show how many Israel-Ukraine fundraisers have been closed compared with those with Gaza.
Of course.
So, yeah, these
we
are the
get the picture here. So.
Yeah, so it just keeps going, but hold on. Anything treated like animals. This goes on to double standards. Yeah, so yeah, it just keeps going. I didn't expect this article to be that long. Because I read it before the show, but it's really longer than I thought it was. So, yeah, we get the point. GoFundMe is screwing over Gaza and Palestinian fundraisers for reasons. They say, well, I mean, it's an extra review process, and we have to cross our I's and dot our T's. And then even if you do all that, we're still going to take your money and allegedly maybe return it to donors down the line, but most likely we're just going to pocket it. And I wouldn't be if you look through the terms of service, I wouldn't be surprised if they're allowed to do that. Problem is, nobody reads terms of service, which is why they don't know. The terms of service are 100 pages long and with font that big. So,
if I knew how, I would start a fund me page, and I would not do any of that shit. You can do whatever the fucking hell you want and make sure that the money gets to where it needs to go. But that I'm a crazy liberal. I'm not a liberal. A crazy radical is what I meant to say. Oh my gosh, give money to poor people? Are you fucking nuts?
Yeah. So we got this. Yeah, Joe Rogan and Bernie Sanders going back on Joe Rogan to talk about all the important issues, and we'll agree on everything, and nothing will get accomplished anyways. So Bernie says, I talked to Joe Rogan about the humanitarian crisis in Gaza and the corrupting influence of billionaire and super PACs on both political parties. I can do the Bernie voice at times, but it disappears usually. So
I suck a dick. I can't help it. I suck trumpet sticks, and I can't. I like it. I like Benjamin Netanyahu's dick. I suck it all the time.
Remember,
I
Snow
mean,
does the
come on.
best Bernie impressions. So.
yeah, he does.
Yeah, Snow, where'd you go? Did you fall
Yeah, he
asleep?
does. He
Wake
does
up.
the best impression.
Right now, as we speak, Joe, children are starving to death because of Israel's blockades.
Yeah.
Starving to death. And I brought forth 2 resolutions, which basically were very simple. And
Neither of them passed, and everybody ignored them.
it said no more U.S. military aid.
And by the way, those resolutions are meaningless. They're just resolutions. They're not laws, that force the president to stop this stuff.
Remember, he's only doing it with Trump as president. He didn't do it.
That's a terrible screenshot there, Bernie. Kind of like,
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, he's picking his nose there.
to
Good
Israel
shot.
under these conditions. One vote got 15 votes in the Senate, the other one got 16.
yeah, it failed, Bernie. We know.
Do you think that members of the Senate do not know what's going on in Gaza? The kids are starving to death. The innocent people are being shot down right and left. They know it. Why do you think I couldn't get more votes?
And what are you doing, Bernie? Fuck
They wouldn't
you.
vote against Israel.
Right. And
It's
why-
political suicide.
Now you're talking.
Right.
All right. So
Yeah, but you voted.
Neither
you
did
voted.
you. Neither did
You
you.
voted for Marco Rubio, Bernie.
Exactly.
Like, you knew he was going to continue this genocide. He's going to be in favor of it, but you voted for him anyways. So you have no leg to stand on here.
in the Republican side, you have moneyed interests saying you speak up against Trump, you're out of here. In the Democratic side, you speak up against the Netanyahu government, you're out of here.
No.
And they have been successful. You have super PAC.
Hell no.
Oh my God, go suck a
Like
dick,
AIPAC.
Bernie. Seriously.
Netanyahu is
Spending-
Israel, Bernie. Israel.
Yeah, he won't say
Israel.
Israel. He says Netanyahu is the big bad, I'll say orange man.
Big
I'm
bad
about to say
wolf,
orange
for
man, but
fuck's
he's not
sake.
orange. So
The fortune. You stand,
Yeah.
and
He's
they
a
have already
big
knocked
bad
off a
wolf.
number of members of Congress, good members of Congress, and they will do it again. So all I'm saying is you got a corrupt campaign finance system on both sides, which is rejecting the will of the American people
So then why
and
are you
end
doing
up
the
supporting
fight the
powerful
oligarchy tour, Bernie?
special interests. And if we do not get a
the
handle
fight
on
for
that issue,
oligarchy tour was bullshit. We all know
I
that.
worry very much about the future of American democracy.
Yeah, he was using his private jets.
Yeah.
You were
Yeah.
flying around in
Hey,
private
he
jets, you
defended
fucking
saying,
asshole.
where was I going to go? It was a big line. I had to use a private jet.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but I have to
Yeah,
monkey with the rest? Are
he's-
you crazy? I hate poor people. I
he-
mean, I didn't see that.
he's done pretending, to be one of us.
He-
By the way,
That's
join the
clip of
move.
him, saying that Elon paid Trump $270 million, and then Joe Rogan is like, Kamala got paid like $1.2 billion. He's like, okay, great, good point. Let's go. Do you have that clip?
I don't, but hold on, let me see.
Talk about sucking dick.
It's the
Bernie
one where
makes it
I
an
posted in a group saying, "Bernie, listen to Bernie squirm at the end."
I don't have that one, but if you can find it and tag me in it, I'll definitely play it before we go. Let's see. Joe Rogan relentlessly fact checks Bernie Sanders after he accused Trump of being authoritarian for suing media outlets. Sanders tried deceiving Rogan viewers about Trump's lawsuits against media, blah, blah, blah. I really don't care about that one. Let's see. This. Oh, here it is. I think I got it here. Yeah, I found it. I got spam in the chat, but whatever. Joe Rogan shuts down Senator Bernie Sanders after he tried slamming Elon Musk for donating $270 million in 2024 election. Elon spent $270 million to elect Trump as president. I think that's absurd that any one person. What Joe Rogan says, what is the most someone's donating to the Harris campaign? Sanders said, they spent a lot of money on her. They spent $1.5 billion in the course of a couple months. Which is true because Kamala only ran for president for a couple months. So
What it says is, you're a billionaire. You have now the constitutional right, because your money is your freedom of expression, right? So you don't like Bernie Sanders, you can put millions or hundreds of millions of dollars into a campaign and express your view about how terrible Bernie Sanders is,
Right.
and you can buy that election, right? That's your
Right.
constitutional right. I think that's probably the worst decision that the Supreme Court has ever made. So what is the result of that decision? The result of that decision, let's take us to where we are.
Wait, can you put it
today.
on pause there
Yeah.
for a second? So basically, he just admitted that all of our elections are
Yeah,
scams.
he said
He
literally
a
just
few
admitted
months
that.
ago, last year.
You can buy this election, you can buy that election, and you can. That's your constitutional right. No, Bernie, that's not the constitutional right. So you literally just admitted that our vote does not count. So why vote?
I don't. I mean, I'm anti-electoralism. I've been radicalized against elections at that point. But after this election, the president's election that passed, I'll probably never vote again. So
I'm not. I have never voted. I voted one time, and that's because I was forced into it to vote for Hillary Clinton in 2016, and I never voted
I
again
voted for
after
Hillary in
that.
2016 too, even though I knew how bad she was. But back then, I was a Democrat. I guess I had some background. But then I learned after that, and I learned
I voted for Bernie in 2016, and again in 2020.
I voted for Bernie in 2016 too, and then I voted for Tulsi in 2020, and never again.
I never voted after that. And I
Yeah,
never
I'm
will.
done with voting altogether. I'll cover it. I mean, I'll give you my
It's
thought, but
so disgusting how these so-called progressives, they learned not to vote for Hillary in 2016, but then for whatever reason voted for Biden in 2020.
And Kamala Harris in 24. They all did. They all fell in line pretty much. Because the big bad evil orange man, they had to,
Well, they
and
knew
then-
how bad Trump was in 2016, but yet they didn't cave back then, so that was weird.
And then
Well, that
and
didn't
then
stop them. They wanted Trump to be the leader.
then
That's
Trump
the thing.
and then once Trump is gone, there'll be a new evil orange man or evil Republican, whoever it is, where they all fall in line.
Mike Gravel said, even though it was the teens controlling his account, but it said you would get a worse Trump or whatever he said. So.
Yeah, you would, it's not.
Like Trump Jr. or worse.
Is that
Ugh.
Elon Musk, and I know Elon was on your show, and
I know
he's
Elon.
here in Austin, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, and we could talk about Elon, but
Yeah.
he spent $270 million to elect Trump as president. Okay, I think that's absurd that any one person.
What's the most someone donated towards the Harris campaign?
Oops.
They spent a lot of money on Harris as
They
well.
spent $1.5 billion just
Combined.
over the course of a couple of months.
You got it. All right, let me talk about it. So
Yeah,
I'm not here
let's
just to
talk
say it's a
about it.
Republican. That's
I'm
my
not here
point
to
here.
talk
Right,
about blah, blah,
Like,
blah, blah.
okay, let's move on. Let's move on. I don't want to discuss it. Please.
Oh shit! He caught me on my bullshit. Now I have to turn to a different dick. Okay.
He's like, blah, blah, blah. Come on, Joe. I mean, I'm not here.
But I don't like Rogan either. I mean, Rogan is such a fucking psyop.
Yeah, I listen to every once in a blue moon if there's a guest that's interesting. Like I'm interested. I have my quirky interest in history and ancient aliens and stuff like that. So if he has a guest on like that,
Ancient
I will watch
aliens.
that.
Really? You think aliens came down and I don't know
And I sent you-
what the hell is ancient
And Angel, I
aliens?
sent you the other clip from the.
I just think that's. I mean, hey, if that's your son de tetra, fine. I mean, I just what the hell are ancient aliens? Explain
real
it to
quick,
me.
it's a theory that aliens came down to Earth during pivotal parts in our history to interfere with the human race and lead us in the right direction in order to become intelligent. And there's
But we're not.
self-aware.
Well, okay, some of us are. People are very intelligent, including you, Angel, and little brother. There's a lot of stupid people out
The
there.
correct
I just don't agree with
saying
that.
and probably self-aware, and to teach us how to become what the fuck keeps beeping the horn and trying to get in the building, for fuck's sake. Anyways, yeah, so that's what. That's the ancient alien theory, basically. So what is this? 20 months into an ongoing genocide,
Angel,
Bernie
let me
Sanders went on
in!
Joe Rogan to
Okay.
everyone that Israel has right to defend itself. either Hamas are evil terrorists who began the war, blah, blah. He gave Israel's talking points. Let's check this out.
Israel was attacked by Hamas, and Hamas is a
Hamas.
terrible terrorist organization. They killed 1,200 people, which in a small country
You
like
condemn
Israel is a lot of
Hamas.
people. Terrible, terrible attack. It's a war crime. Israel had a right, in my view, to defend itself.
There you go. Israel's right to defend itself.
Wow, you're a fucking idiot, Bernie.
So this is another video. To this day, Bernie Sanders refuses to recognize the Gaza genocide and in fact mocks it.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you also remember the clip where he was in Ireland, I think, and then he said he doesn't like the word genocide, and then someone confirms, like, it is a genocide.
But it is a genocide, Bernie. I can't do an
so-
Irish accent. I'm sorry.
Liar, liar, genocidal denier.
Yeah.
Denier.
So Bernie also says he said Russia and China are guilty of genocide, but not as fresh as Israel. So he went on to
He
blame.
did a great job questioning him.
In your view,
is what Israel is doing in Gaza a genocide?
In my view, it is absolutely disgraceful, horrible, and I'm doing, as a United States senator,
he won't say it.
I can to end it.
But do you buy the South African case at the International Court of Justice that what Israel is doing in Gaza constitutes genocide or genocidal acts?
I think,
No.
look, we can argue about definitions.
What?
It is horrible.
But if one agrees that it is a genocide, it means that
Okay,
other
so he doesn't think it's a
states have
genocide. So
legal
what is your
right.
definition, Bernie, of a fucking
APAC
genocide?
talking points. Yes, there you go.
Hey, look,
There you
his
go,
name-
Jimmy.
Thank you, Jimmy.
and duty
Make sure you like if you
to
haven't.
prevent genocidal acts being carried out?
But
I think
see, we can talk about it.
We can talk about it.
What does that mean?
You're talking about it right now, Bernie.
Right now, what I am trying to do is what I think is probably maybe, and I can do it because I'm a senator. You can't.
What?
Right now, maybe,
What can you do? You didn't do anything.
maybe,
Maybe.
if we tell Mr. Netanyahu that he's
Oh,
not getting a
yeah.
check
You're to tell
for
him.
$10 billion
$10
more to continue his aggressive
So
action,
brave
he
and
and his
We're
right
gonna tell him after we're
Yeah, we're
sucking his
gonna
dick.
tell him allegedly that we're not going to give him $10 billion.
They're still using that stupid-
Netanyahu, I think you should
They're
stop this.
still using that stupid tactic years later. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, they're still
We're
using.
to tell him.
friends.
He knows
And then
exactly.
when he says no, he's gonna be like, okay.
Okay. Take your money. I don't want to challenge the powerful.
It's not a good idea to continue to do that. So that's where I am coming from.
In addition to stopping the billions of dollars in military aid that Israel gets from the United States every year, would you back calls for a cultural, sporting, and economic boycott of Israel?
No.
I am nervous about economic boycotts of any country, to be honest with you.
I'm nervous about any economic boycotts,
BDS, so
except for apartheid South Africa. Everybody was fine with that, but Israel, oh, no, we can't do a boycott. We can't do an economic boycott of Israel.
remember,
Well, I mean, he's
Yeah.
a Zionist.
remember, he presented it was either a bill or a resolution with fucking Lindsey Graham. Remember
Right.
that?
Yeah, I remember that. Him and Lindsey Graham are secret butt buddies, I guess. I don't know. That was weird that Bernie would work with him.
But right now, what
Yes, I'm rubbing off on Angel.
people want to do, they can do what they want to do. But
People
Ew.
right now, again,
I just
my
thought of it.
job
Never mind.
as a
Scratch that
United
from the
States
list.
senator, I'm kind of leading that effort in the Senate,
No, you're
is
not.
to tell Netanyahu that he is not going to get any more U.S.
Oh, he's
aid.
gonna
Did
tell.
you feel nervous about the boycott movement against apartheid South
Right,
Africa?
he told you
There
personally
it
while
is.
you were
Yes,
sucking
he brought
his
up
dick, right?
apartheid South Africa. I'm sure he was fine
And
with
watch
that.
his
Movement
reaction.
against apartheid South Africa, was that a concern you had?
What?
What I thought that as an apartheid
Nope.
state at that point, it was important to put pressure. But people can do what they want. And that's all.
Do you think that it's
Yeah,
right
no, Israel
that
can do what they
British
want. You
citizens-
just have to suck their dick.
But I was fine with that one, but no, I mean, I'm usually nervous about economic boycotts. It's boycotts, divest, and sanction, so BDS, but it's actually illegal to do BDS here in the U.S. They passed some legislation a few years ago to make it illegal, so we can't do BDS here.
citizens and American citizens can go and fight in the IDF when, as you say, there are such
But why would you want to?
profound humanitarian concerns in Gaza?
Well, I think if British and American people want to do that, I suppose they have the right to do it. It's not something that I really don't know about.
Do you think they should have the right?
Yeah, hey, if you want to
You
die
can,
for
yeah, it's
Israel,
fine,
go for it,
but
bud.
I'm not going to be against it directly. Okay,
Look, I think what the Israeli government doing now is horrible, and I'm not quite sure
You don't say.
people would want to be, part of that.
He won't say the word
course!
genocide or anything like that.
effort.
I mean, you faced quite a lot of criticism recently.
I
and some-
face criticism every day, no
and
matter
some-
what you do, and that's my line of work, and I accept it.
Yeah, and some barracking over
Oh
this
yeah,
word.
you're so victimized.
over
Shut
the-
up,
over the
Bernie.
whole-
Well, yeah,
word about
people are
genocide.
talking. People are talking about what constitutes genocide, all that stuff. Fine. Frankly, what we should be talking about is how we stop this damn war. Do you have an international court of justice which is defined?
Again,
Well, you
it-
tell Trump
the
to go fuck
host
himself.
said genocide, and he pivoted from that into war or whatever. So
Defining what genocide means?
we don't know what
we can
genocide
agree-
means.
Oh, now he wants to tell us.
I know what genocide
Like
means.
he's trying to play on semantics with the word genocide. Like, I don't know what it means. We can have a debate on what genocide means.
Error 404.
I certainly see
Not
there's a mass
found.
slaughter
That's right,
of women
Jimmy.
and children, which is unacceptable, which has got to end. And as the
called
United States
all
Senator, I am
genocide.
leading the effort in the Congress to make sure that Netanyahu doesn't get the money he needs to continue that effort. People think that's not good enough, or they want to argue about this word or that word. Fine, go do it.
They want to argue about this word and
That's
that
your
word. He's
job,
playing
Bernie.
semantics.
That's your job.
He's desperately trying to pivot away from
You're
the word
senator.
genocide.
Your job, Bernie.
He's desperately trying to.
Jesus
He's desperately
fucking
trying
Christ.
to pivot from the word genocide.
That's where the left is
I
usually.
mean, mass slaughter of people is a very strong way to express
Well, that's
it.
what I
and
think.
That's absolutely. And yet, as you say, there is this argument about genocide. Is the difference between mass slaughter and genocide
you
ultimately
tell
about
me.
numbers?
All right, talk about genocides. What if
Well,
I
you tell me. You tell me.
ask you?
Genocide is what happening in Gaza. They're literally being bombed. They're literally Israel says, "Oh, go over to this city," and then they
Well, he's
bomb that
trying-
city, and then they can't get the care they need. They can't get food. They can't get supplies. They can't get nothing. That's a
Bernie is
genocide,
fine.
Bernie. You
He's
fucking
fine with
idiot.
mass murder, mass destruction, but he won't say the word genocide. Like he's playing semantics with the word genocide.
Historically about
No,
genocide,
I
what would
think,
you
I
say?
think he
Well,
meant to
I mean-
say he's not fine. I think he meant to say he's
Yeah.
not.
Rwanda, Cambodia, the Holocaust, the
Exactly.
Second World War.
All right.
So those are vast.
Okay, so you'll say the Holocaust is a genocide, but you won't say that what's happening in Gaza was a genocide.
But
Am I right?
Cambodia and not what the Nazis did and what all these people did, it's exactly the same that Israel's doing. But Bernie still won't call it genocide, ladies and gentlemen. I wonder why that is.
Vastly bigger numbers.
That's right.
Than
But
what we're talking about now. So-
Gaza's a smaller country.
I got more spam.
That's what I would think when you talk about genocide, right? The
I mean, you
Holocaust-
said you were uncomfortable with the word genocide. and I just
Precisely
wondered
because
why. Yeah.
what I don't want to see is that word become something, 8 people like genocide. All right? It is a horrible, what more do you have to
It
say?
is a genocide, you fucking idiot.
It's like I'm queasy about the word genocide.
It is a genocide.
Yeah, it is
What's
a
your definition of
genocide.
genocide?
Bernie, you have funded Zionism yourself. You have
100%
funded
true.
the Israeli
That's 100%
settler
true.
state. Here you are, pretending you aren't. It is disgusting. Liar, liar, genocide denier.
Genocide
Liar,
denier.
liar,
Genocide
denier. It's disgusting. It is reprehensible. You are a child killer.
I want you out
I
of
want
here.
you out of here. Yeah, but he's 100% right. Bernie did fund the genocide. He funded Israel. He voted to fund Israel. He voted to do all that stuff that we all hate right now. So, fuck Bernie Sanders. And, yeah. So it's past 9 o'clock. So I guess we're going to call it a...
Fuck the establishment and fuck Donald Trump and fuck
We're
Israel.
going to call it an episode this week. So, want to thank everybody for watching. My voice is very tired. My throat is itchy as hell.
Aw, don't you have your water? Wait, get the guy a beer.
That would
Give
be
him
nice.
a beer. So
Yeah,
donate
please.
today.
My link's in the description box below for donations. So I do need a new computer. So
You need
yeah,
another
that
beer.
too. So any donations are greatly appreciated for that. I don't know why I'm doing this, but yeah, I mean, any donations are greatly appreciated. All those links in the description box below, and there's a chat bot here with my Ko-fi. So check that out if you want to donate. I'll greatly appreciate it.
I might not be able to join at 9 Eastern because I got a race to watch.
Okay, well, I guess let us know if you can
at
for
6:30
sure.
or 7 Eastern. So it's depending how the race goes for me.
Well, trust me, we have a
we
lot
can
to
fill
talk
an hour
about.
and a half or two. If you can't
Depending
come
how
on.
the race goes for me, I might not
Uh-huh.
join. So
I gotta watch. Hopefully not Karrion Cross, but I gotta watch. Oh my god, I gotta watch Night of Champions at work.
It starts at 1 o'clock
And I
Eastern,
hope I don't,
and it'll end around 3 or 4.
Yeah, and I work from like 10 to 3.
Is
so
it on a Saturday?
Yeah, it's tomorrow in
Oh,
Saudi
so then
Arabia.
let's do it on Sunday instead.
Is that what you gotta do? Angel?
I'd be able to join.
I'll leave
that
it up
day,
to you.
so.
Sunday. I mean, unless I don't think nothing on the schedule for Sunday. Let me check. That way I don't give Witchy a chance to watch it, more comfortably.
Yeah, go home and watch the shit I missed because
Yeah.
I'm at work.
There's nothing on the
47
schedule here
sucks a
for
dick.
Sunday,
Ooh,
so I should.
boy.
All right, then I'll do it Sunday. I'll set it up for Sunday at 7 then. So yeah, Sunday at 7 is Pro Wrestling Talk. Even though we could have done it tomorrow, but it's fine. Sunday at 7. That way.
So
yeah, it'll give me a
Sunday
day
at
off
7.
anyways because
I can do that.
my throat's kind of tired. So yeah.
Yeah, we'll be yelling.
It's like when the Rock had trouble with his voice when we saw that.
47 sucking dicks and coming in voice.
Woo! Boy, I'm really lacking. I gotta do it. Sucking dick, sucking dick, sucking dick, sucking
You
dick.
need to buy like a dildo step or whatever.
Oh god.
What we need is one of those counters. I'm telling you. Every time I say sucking dick, go ding.
You know what? Let me see something.
He's seriously gonna do it.
Yeah, sure. Hold on a
and
second.
like I said, Kieran is actually keeping count here.
Let me see.
Uh-oh.
Let me see it.
MC Hammer in the house. Oh.
You can do that.
Yes.
So yeah, so I'll leave that there for next week. I mean, so.
And Steph, for those who don't know in the chat, explain why you say that.
Before we.
Because it's true. I mean, all of our elected officials.
No. Why you
basically
told
suck
me
a dick.
why you say? When you told me why you say that.
Why did I tell
Only
you? What did I
because
tell you?
you
I don't
your
remember what I said
husband's
2 minutes
dick.
ago. Oh yeah, right. Because we had someone in the chat, right? Yeah, we had someone in the chat say, "Why do you talk about sucking dick all the time?" I'm like, "Well, because I have a husband and I like sucking his." I mean, what's wrong with sucking a dick? I mean, come on.
I censored it.
I mean, I'm talking to the ladies out there. I'm talking to the straight ladies out there.
Yeah,
and bisexual. And
And
the
the gay men.
bisexuals.
Gay men love sucking dick.
Yeah, I don't want YouTube, trying to ban us because I put DICK, so that's why I censored it a little bit there. But I don't want YouTube give any excuse for banning my channel or INN's channel, so I'm gonna censor it.
Right.
So, yeah.
Maybe that's why we don't have a counter.
So I could do a counter. This that has to be censored.
Again,
all right.
In the news media, we need to have a supercut of it. So.
Yeah, I mean, go through.
Just like every few
really,
seconds, it's just like me cutting, like a video cutting of me just saying
Play-
"suck a dick, suck a dick,
Play,
suck
yeah,
a dick."
a comedy music with it or whatever.
Love it, lefty lunatics. Yeah, that's actually next week. I'm gonna try to have David on to talk more about New York and his thoughts on Mamdani winning the primary. But
what's a glory hole?
Earl of Laurel. If Witchy was president, there'd be a glory hole in every corner.
Oh, remember, even a 747
I get it.
looks small when you're flying through the Grand Canyon.
I get it. A glory hole. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah.
Earl, don't make me suck a dick. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that.
So
I got a husband. I love sucking his. So there you go. He's the only one.
I want to thank everybody for watching and thank my esteemed colleagues for joining us. And hopefully we'll see you guys next week again because I love this. And hopefully I'll have be able to actually reach out to David. I totally forgot I was going to do it, but I got busy and well,
I sent him a message, but I think he's busy.
So I have to give him notice. I don't think he'll just say, "Oh yeah, I'll come on now." He works and he's also a leader of his union, one of the leaders, so he can't just come on a day before. I have to give him notice. But hopefully we'll get him on next week to discuss that. Pro Wrestling Talk will be on Sunday at 7 instead of Saturday at 8. So we'll give Witchy a chance to actually watch it, and do a proper review instead of me reviewing it and her kind of just, twiddling her thumbs and just giving random thoughts. But yeah, I want to thank everybody for watching. Make sure you give me a like and subscribe. Hopefully, not hearing this music. Fucking assholes. I want to thank everybody for watching this episode of Angel in the Afternoon. My name is Andrew Rivera. Thank you to my esteemed colleagues for joining me in this great panel that we do every week now. Hope we see you guys next Friday at 7. Pro Wrestling Talk is Sunday at 7, where we'll be reviewing Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. And I'll be ranting about the alleged geopolitical experts that are wrestling fans that embarrass themselves because they think Saudi Arabia is in danger of being attacked, even though it isn't. And there will be attacked. But that'll be Sunday at 7 o'clock. I want to thank everybody for watching this episode, Angel in the Afternoon. I'll see you guys next week at 7 o'clock Eastern for this show. Have a nice weekend.